good afternoon everyone. We are the group 1 and today we will be discussing or reporting about the Pungan or the review literature of Pungan. So here are the group members of group 1 and here are the reporters. We have Racho Mary Grace, Rolion John Nico, Tapia Rochelle, Vency Angelica Marie, and Violeta Eliza Ashley. So, before we start with our discussion, we will first have a motivation. So, here you will guess the picture provided and choose the letter of the correct answer. So, on the left side, you can see that there is an image being provided and you have to guess if it is A, airplane or aeroplano, B, paper o papel, C, shoes o sapatos. So, is the answer A, B, or C?
Letter A.
Okay, very good. So, the answer is letter A. So, here next we have a picture of an animal. So, is it A for cat or iring? B, carabao o kabaw? C, dog o iro?
C.
Very good. So it is letter C. So next we have a picture of the building. So is it A, plaza o plaza? B, school or eskwelahan? C, hospital o hospital?
Letter C.
Okay, very good. It is letter C. Next, we have a picture of a thing or an item. So is it A, paper o papel? B, pencil o lapis? C, bag?
Letter C.
Very good. So it is bag. Next is we have a picture of someone. So is it A, a teacher o magtutudlo? B, doktor o doktor? C, firefighter o bombero? So what is the correct answer?
A.
Very good. It is letter A. So now, since we are going to talk about pungan, so that example that you have seen earlier from our activity, it was pungan. So what is pungan? So in sinugbuan ng Bisaya, a noun is called pungan. Meaning, nouns is mga pungan. In English, it is noun. So if you search online, you can sometimes see nouns also referred to as pulungan, pulungan, or rarely pulong ngalan. So it has different kinds of spellings and known for different names. But we call it pungan. The last one is the most descriptive since it is literally a compound of the Bisaya word for word, which is pulong, and name ngalan. Pulong, ngalan, and in short, it is pungan, which is why we have it. The noun in Bisaya is called pungan. But pulong ngalan is rarely used, which is why we are using pungan. So, what is pungan? So, according to Grammarly 2022, pungan or noun is a word that names something such as a person o tao, place o lugar, thing o butang, animals o mananap, and event o panghitabo. So, pungan is essential to the English language and to all other languages as well. Since everyone encounters and uses pungan in their daily lives, it would be difficult for people to communicate without it in the grammar world or in the world of grammar. So, pungan is actually around us. It is everywhere around us from the word itself that noun or pungan is a word that names something. So, it is related to us naming a certain thing. Like example, we call this a cell phone, we call this a fan. So that is naming something. pungan is naming something. And it's not just about a person, but it is also about things, animals, and can be a place or an event. And pungan can be found in literacy and writing. So the naming words are typically the topic of sentences. They are one of the most significant parts of any sentence. Its significance will be talked more later on, and it is actually can be seen in most sentences, since we all talk about things and we name things. We all like to name things, and we can't talk to someone if we don't know what their name is, and we can talk about a certain topic or things without knowing about its name. So almost every sentence definitely has pungan, and they perform different roles in a sentence. So next is, here are some examples of pungan. So person o tao, which is the mother, conductor, and it could be a name, which is Mark and Inday, and a child, and many more. And under the category of place o lugar, it could be the church, school, market, Cebu City, Manila, and it could be the place or your address. And next is we have the thing o butang, which is spoon, paper bag, plant, clothes, it can be keys, and many more. And for the animals o mananap, there are lion, frogs, and cats, and dogs, and other animals that we know or we have seen. Then we have lastly the event o panghitabo. So these are the birthday, the weddings, the new year, or it could be like your anniversary. It can also be like reunion. Those are kinds of events. So pungan is one of the primary word categories in English, along with verbs, punong lihok, and other parts of speech. So pungan is not only a primary word category in English, but as well as in other languages as well, since even in Bisaya, we also use to name things. And it is stated by Barrier and Popowich 1994 that a noun can be put into a relationship to another parts of speech. So the most frequent case being that a noun is given as a case relation with other parts of speech. So a subject and a verb are typically required for a sentence to be considered complete. So this means that the noun or pungan can be used together with other parts of speech, especially verb, because like they have said, the noun is usually used as a subject, or the pungan is usually used as a subject or a pronoun. The subject can also be a pronoun or a noun. The most fundamental function of a noun is to serve as a subject of a verb that comes after it, which is why noun can be in a relationship with others, because in a sentence there is always an action word, and there is also pungan or noun, which we use to name things or name words. So next is we have the different types of pungan, and we will be starting with the proper noun, which will be discussed by Vency.
Good day, everyone. I am Angelica Marie A. Vinci. So, why it is really important to study the different types of noun? There's several different types of noun. It is often too useful to recognize what type a noun is. So, because different types sometimes have a different rules. So the first type of noun is proper noun. Sa Bisaya pa pangpiyo. And the Cambridge Grammar of English Language by Rodney Handlestone and Geoffrey K. Polom 2002, a proper noun is defined as the name of the the name of a unique individual, entity, or place, and it typically spelled with an initial capital letter. So this means all the proper nouns start with a capital letter. Specific names for a person, place, or thing are known as proper noun or pangpiho. From the word of specific, like the name of the dog, name of the person, the name of the place, the name of the girl, and so on. Next, please. Next, please. Here's the some example of pangpiho are. My name is Rose. Rose is a proper noun, right? Because everyone cannot be Rose. Rose is a name of one particular girl or a person. Next, this is my dog, Bruno. In this sentence, mention the name of the dog, name of specific pet animal owned by someone. Next, David came back from Minsk. And this sentence mention a specific place. Next, Louis Philippe is a famous brand of men clothing. Louis Philippe is a name of brand, particular clothing brand. So it is a pangpiho or proper noun. Remember, proper noun are specific names from the word specific. Next, please. Next, the second types of noun is common noun. Sa Bisaya pa, pangsagaran. Common nouns o pasagaran are ones that designate a general type of thing, person, or location. According to Mamatskulavish 2021, the main grammatical feature of noun is change in numbers. If there is no symmetric restriction, the main spelling feature is writing with a lowercase letter. So which means all the common nouns start with a lowercase letter and so only capitalize at the beginning of the sentences. These indicate that they are not employed to specifically identify certain individuals, place, or things, unlike pangpiho or proper noun. Example of proper noun is boy. Boy doesn't talk about one specific person because wala man nag-mention og pangalan. You can use the noun boy about any boy. Another example of common noun. Mountain. Mountain is a common noun, right? That means any mountain. How about Mount Apo? Mount Apo is a proper noun because it is a unique or a special name given to one particular mountain. Next, please. Here are some examples of pasagaran. I bought a pen yesterday. It is a common object because it didn't mention the brand of the pen. I'm going to school. It is a common place because there's a lot of school. Only 10 employees show up to work today. It is a common group because it didn't mention the name of the group. Next, the car is out of the fuel. It is common, I think, because there's a lot kind of fuel. Remember, common nouns are general word for things from the word of general. So, what are different proper noun and common noun? Common noun refers to general things like city, mountain, while the proper nouns refer to specific name like Lapu-Lapu City, Mount Apo. So the importance of these nouns, common noun and proper noun, is really vital part of every language. They are useful in many ways. It helps with capitalize. They also help with identifying all the objects that are around us. Next, please. That is singular noun. According to Seaton and 2007 says that noun can be singular or plural. When you are talking about one person, animal, place, or thing, use singular noun. These are the name given to particular or single person, location, animal, or thing. So singular noun is a contrast with a plural noun. So I will discuss that later. So plural nouns, it is talking about one thing. Like example, cat is a plural. Cat is a singular noun, which represent one cat. Next, please. Here the following are examples of singular noun. There is a little boy in front of our house. It is single person because only one boy in the front of their house. Next, that is my daughter. It is a single person. Next, I found a wooden sparrow in the bush. And this sentence, only one bird in the bush. Next, the red van has been following us for a long time. It is one object because only one van has been followed them. So remember that singular noun is talking about one thing. Next, please. So here's the fourth type of noun, and that is plural noun. According to Seton and 2007, when you are talking about two or more people, animals, things, by adding an s, es, or ves or vis to base word. Noun can be written in plural. The same applies to noun with an s at the end, while the spelling of pungan or noun is both the singular and plural form, that of other is completely different in spelling, like kanang woman, women, foot, feet, mouse, mice. Like example, that is some example. We form a plural simply by adding s, but there are exceptions, right? We add es to noun that already end in s, like class, classes. We add ies to noun ending in y, like apply, applies. Some nouns ending in f, some end with a ves, like leaf, leaves, leaves. And then some nouns are irregular plural, like what I mentioned before, like man, men, and foot, feet. So what are the different between singular and plural? Difference between singular and plural noun is that singular noun is referred to one thing or one object, and plural nouns it refers to multiple things or more than two and more things. So singular noun and plural nouns is vital when you are needed write or speak about one and more and many as you can. The next reporter will be John Nico Rolion.
So, good day everyone. I am Johnny Corion and I am assigned to countable noun or maihap na pungan. So, pungan that can be numbered or measured are referred to as countable nouns or maihap na pungan in Bisaya. It is stated by Peter Nichols and Biderman that in 2014 that count noun reference are invisible or dili siya divide or dili mabungkag or atomic and therefore can be sorted and counted. So here are the examples of pungan or countable noun or mayhap nga pungan. Next please. So first example is Tom brought 10 packets of lace for the trip. So the 10 packets of lace here is countable noun, which is specific number that indicated in the sentence that 10. And second, mom asked me to buy a dozen of eggs. So it is also stated that a dozen, and it is specific and it is clear that it is countable. Second, I saw an airplane around 7 in the morning. So the specific countable noun here is the airplane, which is an or it can be, we can say that it is one. Next please. So next, the must noun, or according to Arts and McMahon in 2008, Mass nouns are typically characterized as denoting substances, materials, or abstract concepts that do not have well-defined boundaries or discrete units. Pungan that cannot be counted are referred to as mass nouns or dili mayhap nga pungan. Mass nouns are also known as uncountable nouns. Both concrete and abstract nouns fall under this category of pungan. So, in a mass, or we can say that mass defined a large number. So, if we say that mass, so daghan gid siya or di siya maihap, we can not say that that thing is 1, 2, 3 or pila yung percent. Kaya ang mass nouns is more on kanang a large number gid siya. Next please. So here are some few examples of mass nouns. So I have a lot homework to do. So specific ang number sa homework if pila if 10, 15 or 20. So we can it's clear that a lot of homework is a mass noun. Kaya wa siya specific kung pila ka homework ang iyang buhaton. And second, she is known for her intelligence. So in here, intelligence is cannot be count or cannot be calculated in because if you see a person in her or his physical appearance, we cannot say that he has or he have 20 IQ, 30 IQ like that. So intelligence cannot be counted and it is under of mass nouns. Third, we are facing terrible weather today. Please. So collective noun or panghugpo. So according to Mamatkulovich in 2021, collective nouns denoting a set of biological living being and not changing in numbers. For example, youth, students, and people are outside of animateness in terms of grammatical indicator. This means that collective noun or panghugpong is a naming term that designates a collection of things, animals, or people. So here are the example of a collective noun. So a collective noun for a group of animals. So example, if there's a group of animals, we can say that a pride of lions, a flock of sheep, which is a group like that. A collective nouns for groups of people, we say a band of musicians, a board of directors, and a collective nouns for a number of things or objects, a pair of shoes, a chain of mountains. Next please. So the concrete noun or kabatyag. Bal in 2013 stated that a concrete noun is a person, place, or something materials that can be observed by one of the five senses, and these nouns are physically preserved and non-abstract. An object that is tangible to people and made of material or substance is referred to as a concrete noun or kabatyag. So it is nouns that can be observed by one of our five senses. So we know already what are the five senses, what our five senses says. So next please. So the following are example of kabatyag or the concrete noun. First, the book is on the table. So it is a thing which is the book and the table. I had a cup of coffee. Sharon opened the windows. Hardly goes to school bus. And that's all for my report. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Rochelle Tapia, and I'm the next reporter of the next type of pungan, which is the abstract noun or lunap sa Bisaya. So, abstract noun. It is stated by Mamatkalovich 2021 that abstract nouns denote concepts, properties, qualities, actions, and states in destruction, breathe, learning, the courage. This shows that a lunap is any object that cannot be perceived using the five senses of the human body. So which means the abstract noun are the intangible ideas or things kanang dili mahikap or makita that we can recognize using our five senses. We cannot see, just like what I said earlier, then taste, smell, hear, and touch the abstract nouns. It also described that abstract nouns describe the conceptual things that cannot be sensed, such as our emotions, the feelings, the characteristics, and so on. Next, please. So, for example, love is a strong emotion. Okay. So, love here is the lunap or the abstract noun because it describes the feelings, the emotion of a person, and it cannot be sensed through using our main senses. Next is honesty is the best policy. Honesty here is the abstract noun because it dili siya nato makita or mahikap. Third, it takes a lot of courage to raise your voice and stand up against injustice. So courage here is the abstract noun. You should not misuse the freedom you are given. So freedom here is the abstract noun because it is an intangible idea. Next, please. So pungan used as a different components of a sentence. So there are three different components of pungan in a sentence. First is pungan used as a subject. Nordquist 2020 stated that the subject is usually a noun, a word or phrase that names a person, place, or thing. A pungan often appears at the start of a sentence when it is employed as the subject. It can be located by asking who, as in who it is. So the subject of a sentence is the performer of the action or the actor who acts in the sentence, and it often appears at the beginning of the sentence. We can also easily locate it by asking who. For example, Bruno went to the playground. So Bruno here is the noun used as a subject because Bruno is the one who acts in the sentence. We can also tell that Bruno is really the subject by asking who. So who went to the playground? Si Bruno, di ba? So ang subject ani is si Bruno because mao man siya natubag sa by asking kung kinsa ani adto sa playground. Next, please. So the teacher asked the students to submit their assignment. So the teacher here is the subject. Kaya siya may nag-asa students nga mopasa sa ilahang mga assignments. The elephant was rescued safely after 10 long hours. And the elephant here is the subject. Next, please. Next is a pungan used as an object. Pungan are usually employed as objects in the latter part of the sentence. It is stated by Nordquist 2020 that instead of performing the action as subjects usually do, objects receive the action and usually follow the verb. The word what can be used to pinpoint it. So nouns can also be the object of a verb in a sentence. Pungan used as an object is the opposite of the noun used as a subject because object will be the one to receive the action performed by the subject, or it will be the recipient of the direct object. It uses the word what to pinpoint the noun that received the action. For example, I bought a pen and I cannot find today's newspaper. So the object here is the pen and the newspaper. So magkaingon ta nga pungan used as an object ni because mag-una ang verb followed by the noun because ang object maoy mo dawat or mo receive sa action nga gibuhat sa sentence. We can also use the word what in determining if these examples are pungan used as an object, like what did you buy? Diba, a pen. So these are example used as an object. Pungan used as an object. Next, please. Pungan can also be used as a direct object and indirect object. Next, please. So pungan used as a direct object. While subjects are the nouns that do a verb, direct objects receive the verb in the sentence. Breaker 2020. Receive the verb means the action is done to the noun. Asking what will help you identify a pungan being used as a direct object. The direct object also usually comes after the verb. So mag-una ang verb kaysa sa noun. For example, do you want a lollipop? And the direct object ani is an lollipop. We can use also the word what to identify if kani lollipop is a direct object. So what do you want? A lollipop. Second, I love my dress. So what did you love? My dress. So next. So the next reporter will be Miss Racha.
So, good afternoon, everyone. I am Mary Grace D. Racha, and I'm going to report the pungan used as an indirect object. So, Bresmer 2022 stated that an indirect object is the noun or pronoun for whom the action of the verb is complete, and it is the receiver of the direct object to determine a pungan uses as an indirect object, so you can ask question for whom. So the author's statement explains the concept of indirect object in a sentence. So in other words, the indirect object is the recipient of the direct object, which is ang noun or ang pronoun that directly receives the action of the verb. So to identify an indirect object, one can ask the question for whom or to whom after the verb. So for example, in the sentence, Dan bought his sister Mini Cooper. So the direct object is Mini Cooper and the indirect object is his sister. So we can ask the question for whom did Dan buy a Mini Cooper to identify the indirect object. And the second example is Megan baked Julie a cake. So for whom did Megan bake a cake? So to Julie, right? Next, please. So pungan used as complement. So a pungan serves as a complement when it describes or modifies another pungan. So according to Williams 2014, noun complements are normally used with abstract nouns which represent an idea rather than a thing, and a complement or additional information explains what the idea relates to. So the statement of pungan serves as a complement when it describes or modifies another pungan means that ang pungan can be used to makaprovide of additional information about sa another noun or pronoun sa sentence. And a complement is a word or phrase nga naku-follow sa noun or pronoun and adds more information about it. So for example, walang example there. So I have here my own example. So in the sentence, her dream is to become a doctor. So the pungan, a doctor, serves as a complement that describes the abstract noun dream and provides more information about it. Next, please. Next is pungan used as a subject complement. So it is stated by Nordquist 2019 that a subject complement is a word or phrase, usually an adjective phrase, noun phrase, or pronoun that follows a linking verb and describes or renames the subject of the sentence. Positions and professions can serve as a subject complement. So in the context of subject complement, the author explains that a subject complement is a word or phrase na nakafollow sa linking verb and describes or rename the subject of the sentence. So this can be adjective phrase, noun phrase, or pronoun. So subject complements are typically used to provide more information about the subject of the sentence rather than sa object. So for example, in the sentence, my brother is an engineer. So the Pungan engineer serves as a subject complement that describes and renames the subject of my brother. So similarly in the sentence, Jawaharlal Nehru was the first prime minister in India. Serves as the first prime minister of India serves as a subject complement that describes and provides more information about the subject Jawaharlal Nehru. Next, please. Pungan used as a object complement. So noun that follows the noun they modify are called object complement. So according to HASA 2016, an object complement, also known as object complement, is a pungan or noun, pulingan pronoun, or pungway adjective used immediately after a direct object to rename or modify it. Names, position, and profession can serve as an object complement. So in simpler terms, a pungan used as an object complement is a noun, pronoun, or adjective that is placed after sa direct object sa isa ka sentence or and then gi-renames or gi-modify. So the object complement gives more information about sa kanang direct object, and it can be a name, position, or profession. So for example, in the sentence, we named our dog Shadow. So the direct object is the dog, and the shadow is the object complement that renames the dog. And in the second example, the teacher made Tabitha the class leader, and the class leader is the object complement that describes her new position, and ang direct object is si Tabitha. So that's all for my report, and the next reporter will be Alyssa Ashley Violeta.
Okay, so I'll be reporting again for the importance of pungan in language. So why do you think pungan is important in the language? So pungan or nouns are used to name things or words, and it may appear simple that we just go and name a certain thing or name a certain words, yet pungan also plays a vital part in the English grammar and language. This is because pungan are essential to grammar because they lay the foundation for creating sentences and effectively communicating ideas and viewpoints. Although pungan are also present and employed in other linguistic systems, meaning it is also used in other languages. So it is not only known in English but also used in other languages as well. And it is essential in the grammar because it is used as a subject in creating sentences or in communicating ideas and viewpoints, because we always talk about a certain thing and we name a certain thing when we communicate with others, and if pungan are not there, we are unable to communicate about our idea and our viewpoints, and we cannot effectively create a sentences as well. And pungan is a word we use to describe things in our daily lives, such as what we see, feel, and touch. So pungan not only names tangible things but as well as intangible. This is because pungan is not just something about what we physically touch, such as fans or our friends. That is not the only thing that pungan names, but also about what we feel, such as courage and love and many more. So it is under the abstract noun. So pungan in its simplest forms refers to the people, things, concept, and other things that surround us on the earth. So pungan is actually everywhere around us, and it is everywhere, and you can see it even in front of you right now or around you. And understanding pungan and how they are utilized in sentences is crucial for effectively expressing one's thoughts and feelings. So if you do not understand about pungan and how to use them, you will be unable to share what you think or feel, since like I have said earlier, pungan is not only naming tangible things but as well as intangible things. And earlier we talked about how to use the nouns and where to find nouns, and that is how you will be able to effectively understand pungan and effectively express your thoughts, feelings, your ideas, and as well as your viewpoint. So that is all for our report about pungan, and for our performance task, it will be provided later on a link. So that is all. Thank you.